Let me ask you something. Have you ever found yourself lying awake at night, wondering why you weren't enough? Why he drifted away or stopped appreciating everything you brought to the table? Maybe you gave him your heart, your attention, and your loyalty, yet he somehow failed to see the incredible woman standing in front of him. Sound familiar? The truth is, this story is all too common. Women pour themselves into relationships, believing love is about sacrifice and patience, only to end up feeling empty and unappreciated. But here's the real kicker. This isn't your fault. Society has conditioned us to think that more effort equals more love. But does it really? Here's the thing. Men don't fall deeply in love with effort alone. They fall in love with presence, with energy, with the way a woman carries herself and values her own life. The moment you start putting yourself first, everything changes. He'll notice the shift. He'll sense the distance. And that's when he'll realize what he lost. You see, this isn't about playing games or manipulating emotions. It's about transforming yourself into the version of you who doesn't need his validation to feel complete. When you reach that point, not only will you regain your power, you'll become irresistible. Today, I'm going to walk you through 8 things you can do to make him beg for another chance with you. These aren't shallow tricks or temporary fixes. They're grounded in psychology, stoicism, and self-mastery, principles that empower you to not just attract him back, but to elevate your entire life. By the end of this, you won't just understand how to make him want you again. You'll know how to make yourself the kind of woman who inspires admiration, respect, and love, not just from him, but from everyone around you. So, are you ready to discover the secret to becoming the woman he can't stop thinking about? Let's dive in. 1. The power of silence. Making them miss you. When was the last time you let silence do the talking? Here's something most people don't understand about attraction. The more you chase someone, the further they'll run. It's human nature. People value what feels just out of reach, but silence is a statement. It says, I'm not going to beg for your attention, and I'm certainly not going to wait around for you to notice my worth. Think about this. In today's world of constant communication, where texts and notifications never seem to stop, silence feels loud. When you choose not to respond, not to explain yourself, and not to react to every little thing, it forces him to sit with his own thoughts. And trust me, that's a powerful place to leave him. Imagine this scenario. He's scrolling through his phone late at night, maybe even looking at your profile, and he realizes you haven't reached out. No texts, no calls, no how have you been. Suddenly he's wondering why. Is she over me? Is she seeing someone else? Why doesn't she care anymore? These questions will play over and over in his mind. But here's the catch. Silence only works if it comes from a place of confidence. It's not about ignoring him out of spite or playing hard to get. It's about genuinely stepping back and focusing on your own life. You can't fake this. You have to mean it. This is where stoicism becomes your secret weapon. Stoicism teaches us to control our emotions, to focus on what we can change, and to let go of what we cannot. By embracing stoicism, you free yourself from the need to explain, justify, or seek closure. You understand that your peace is far more valuable than winning any argument or trying to prove your worth. But let me ask you, are you ready to embrace the discomfort of silence? To resist the urge to reach out and instead let him feel the weight of your absence? It's not easy, but nothing worth having ever is. Silence also gives you space to reflect on what you want. Is he really the person you want to fight for? Or are you clinging to an idea of him that doesn't align with reality? This period of quiet isn't just for his benefit, it's for yours. If you do this right, here's what will happen. He'll start to miss the sound of your voice, the way you made him laugh, and the little things he took for granted. He'll realize that no one else can fill the void you left behind. And when he finally reaches out, it won't be out of convenience. It'll be because he understands your value. So, my question to you is this: are you ready to make silence your loudest statement? If the answer is yes, then sit back, let the dust settle, and watch how the power of silence changes everything. 2. Letting go. Why walking away makes you stronger. Have you ever felt the sharp sting of being taken for granted? That hollow ache in your chest when you realize someone you gave your all to doesn't see your worth. It's a universal experience, one that can feel deeply personal, almost like it's breaking you. But here's the twist. It's not breaking you. It's shaping you. And here's why. Letting go of someone who doesn't value you isn't weakness. It's strength. Letting go doesn't mean you're giving up. It doesn't mean you didn't love him enough or try hard enough. In fact, it means the opposite. It means you loved yourself enough to say, I deserve better. And let me tell you something powerful. When you choose yourself, the world starts to notice. But why is letting go so hard? Why does it feel like walking away will cause you to lose everything? Because we've been conditioned to believe that love means holding on at all costs. That staying and sacrificing is what makes us worthy of love. But is it really love if it leaves you feeling empty? Here's the truth. Sometimes the best way to love someone is to let them go. When you walk away, you create space for reflection, growth, and clarity. And not just for you, but for him too. It's in your absence that he'll come face to face with the reality of what he lost. Now, let me challenge you to think about something. What if your decision to let go wasn't about him at all? What if it was about reclaiming your power? About stepping into the kind of life you deserve? When you let go, you're not just walking away from him. You're walking toward something greater. You're walking toward a version of yourself who is no longer willing to accept less than she deserves. And trust me, that version of you is magnetic. Let's break this down even further. When you decide to leave a situation that no longer serves you, you send a powerful message not just to him but to yourself. You're saying, I am worth more. I am enough as I am. I don't need to beg, chase, or convince anyone to see my value. But here's the beauty of it. The moment you walk away, he'll start to see everything he took for granted. Your kindness, your laughter, the way you made him feel like the center of your world. And when he realizes it's gone, he'll feel the weight of your absence. This is where Stoicism can guide you again. Walking away isn't about punishing him or making him suffer. It's about finding peace within yourself. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control, our actions, our emotions, and our decisions. You can't control how he feels or whether he regrets losing you, but you can control whether you choose to stay in a situation that no longer honors you. Now, let's talk about what happens after you walk away. At first, he might not even realize what's happening. He might think you'll come back like you always have, but as days turn into weeks, the reality will hit him. He'll scroll through his phone, looking for your name. He'll replay old conversations in his head, wondering where he went wrong. And eventually, he'll come to a painful conclusion. Losing you wasn't just a mistake. It was his biggest regret. But here's the catch. You can't walk away expecting him to chase after you. That's not the point. The point is to let go because it's what you need. Because staying is no longer an option. Because your happiness, your peace, and your growth matter more than holding on to someone who isn't holding on to you. Letting go is also an act of self-respect. It's a declaration that you refuse to shrink yourself to fit into someone else's small world. You're not asking for too much, you're asking the wrong person. And once you let go, you'll realize that what you thought was the end is actually the beginning. So, how do you do it? How do you find the strength to walk away when your heart feels like it's breaking? Start small. Take it one day at a time. Surround yourself with people who remind you of your worth. Focus on your goals, your passions, and the things that bring you joy. And most importantly, trust the process. Trust that letting go is paving the way for something better, whether that's him realizing your value and fighting to win you back, or you discovering a life that's more fulfilling than you ever imagined. Now, I want you to pause for a moment and reflect. Are you holding on to something or someone that's no longer serving you? If the answer is yes, then let this be your sign. Let go. Choose yourself, and watch how your world transforms. If this message is hitting home for you, then do me a favor. Hit that like button and comment number 1 below if you're ready to choose yourself today. Your voice matters, and I want to hear how this resonates with you. And if you're loving this content, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We're building a community of women who are stepping into their power, embracing stoicism, and creating lives filled with love, purpose, and strength. Don't miss out on the journey. We're just getting started. Are you ready to be the woman he can't forget? Then let go, rise up, and let the universe work its magic. You deserve nothing less. 3. Mindset shift. Positivity attracts better outcomes. Let me ask you this. How often do you find yourself stuck in a loop of negative thoughts? Maybe it starts small, a disappointment, an argument, or a moment of rejection. But before you know it, those thoughts spiral into self-doubt, frustration, and even anger. The mind can be a tricky place, can it? But here's the thing, your thoughts don't just stay in your head. They shape your reality. It's time to uncover a powerful truth. Your mind is a magnet. The energy you radiate, positive or negative, determines what you attract into your life. When you focus on what's going wrong, you'll find more of the same. Problems seem bigger, people seem colder, and your world feels smaller. But when you shift your mindset to focus on growth, gratitude, and possibility, the entire game changes. Now, I'm not saying this is easy. Negativity is sneaky. It feels comfortable because it's familiar. It's easier to believe you're unlucky or unworthy than to face the hard truth that your mindset might be holding you back. But here's the good news. Once you understand how powerful your thoughts are, you can change them and your life with deliberate action. Let's get specific. Imagine you've been stuck in a cycle of overthinking about your ex. Every conversation, every moment, every mistake replays in your mind. What does that do to your energy? It drains you, leaving no room for joy, growth, or hope. You're so focused on what you lost that you miss the opportunities waiting for you. But what if you chose a different path? What if, instead of focusing on what went wrong, you focused on what could go right? Instead of replaying the breakup, you visualized your future happy, confident, thriving, and surrounded by love that feels reciprocal and fulfilling. What would that shift feel like? This is the essence of Stoicism, a philosophy that teaches us to focus only on what we can control and to release everything else. You can't control his actions, his feelings, or even his regrets, but you can control your thoughts, your energy, and the way you show up in your own life. Here's a simple exercise to start. Every time a negative thought creeps in, counter it with something positive. For example, if you catch yourself thinking, "I'll never find someone like him again," replace it with, "The right person for me is still out there, and I'm becoming the best version of myself to meet them." It sounds small, but over time, these shifts in thought create massive changes in your perspective and your reality. Let's talk about why positivity is so attractive, especially in relationships. When you're radiating confidence and optimism, people are drawn to you. Positivity is contagious. It feels light, exciting, and full of possibility. And men, they're especially drawn to women who can inspire and uplift, who bring joy into their lives. Now, think about this in the context of your ex. When you're stuck in negativity, constantly venting about what went wrong or doubting your worth, he feels that energy. It pushes him further away. But when you shift your mindset to focus on the positive, on your growth, and on creating a life you love, something magical happens. He starts to notice the change. You're not the same woman who was caught in the cycle of heartbreak. You've evolved. You're focused, happy, and magnetic, and here's the kicker, he'll wonder what sparked this transformation. He'll start to see you in a new light, not as the woman he left, but as the woman he now wishes he could win back. But this isn't just about attracting him. This is about you. When you shift your mindset, you're not just changing how others see you, you're changing how you see yourself. You start to realize that you are capable of overcoming anything, that your worth isn't tied to a relationship, but to the way you love, nurture, and believe in yourself. So how do you maintain this positive energy when life gets hard? Because let's be real, staying positive isn't always easy. Challenges will come, old wounds will resurface, but this is where Stoicism comes into play again. Instead of letting external events dictate your emotions, you learn to anchor yourself in inner peace. You remind yourself that you are stronger than any setback. Journaling can help. Each morning, write down 3 things you're grateful for, 3 things you're excited about, and 1 thing you're working toward. This simple practice trains your brain to focus on the positive. Another powerful tool? Visualization. Picture your ideal life in vivid detail. What does it look like? Who's in it? What are you doing? When you keep this vision at the forefront of your mind, it becomes easier to stay motivated, even on tough days. And let's not forget self-care. Positivity thrives when you take care of yourself, physically, emotionally, and mentally. Exercise, eat well, meditate, and spend time with people who lift you up. These small acts of self-love create a ripple effect that transforms your entire mindset. The beauty of this shift is that it doesn't just change how you feel, it changes how others feel about you. Your ex will sense the difference. He'll see that you're not dwelling in the past, but building an incredible future. And when he compares that energy to what he's experiencing, the contrast will be undeniable. But let's make one thing clear, this mindset shift isn't about making him regret losing you. That's just a side effect. The real goal is to create a life that feels so good, you wouldn't trade it for anything, not even him. So let me ask you, are you ready to step out of the cycle of negativity and start attracting the life and love you deserve? Because the moment you choose positivity, you'll discover a strength and magnetism you never knew you had. Your mindset is your superpower. Use it wisely. And watch as everything you thought was lost comes rushing back to you, better, brighter, and more fulfilling than ever. 4. Authenticity is magnetic. Be true to yourself. Have you ever felt like you had to shrink yourself to fit into someone else's idea of who you should be? Maybe you toned down your passions, adjusted your personality, or kept your thoughts to yourself just to avoid rocking the boat. It's exhausting, isn't it? Pretending to be someone you're not just to make someone else comfortable. Let me tell you something powerful. The most attractive thing about you is your authenticity. It's not your looks, your charm, or even how much you care. It's your ability to be unapologetically yourself. Authenticity is magnetic because it's rare. In a world where so many people wear masks, being real makes you unforgettable. Think about the times you've been around someone who is completely at ease with themselves. Their confidence, their energy, it draws you in. They don't need to seek validation because they already know their worth. That's the kind of energy that captivates people, especially men. And if you want him to beg for another chance, it starts with you showing up as the most authentic version of yourself. Here's the tricky part. Many of us don't even realize we're hiding pieces of who we are. It's not always deliberate. Sometimes it's subtle, like agreeing with his opinions even when you don't, or pretending to enjoy things you secretly dislike. Other times, it's deeper, like suppressing your dreams or silencing your voice because you're afraid of being judged. But let me ask you this. What's the cost of living this way? Sure, it might keep the peace in the short term, but at what expense? Every time you hide who you are, you lose a little bit of yourself, and eventually that adds up. Here's the truth. The right person will love you for who you are, not who you pretend to be. And the wrong person? They'll never be satisfied no matter how much you try to please them. So why waste your time trying to fit into a mold that was never meant for you? When you embrace your authenticity, you reclaim your power. You stop worrying about what he thinks and start focusing on how you feel. You stop chasing approval and start living for yourself. And that shift is what makes you irresistible. Let me break it down for you. Authenticity isn't about being perfect, it's about being real. It's about showing up with your flaws, your quirks, and your whole heart. It's about saying, "This is who I am, and I'm proud of it." Imagine this, you walk into a room fully confident in your skin. You're not trying to impress anyone or win anyone's attention. You're simply being yourself. Do you know how powerful that is? That kind of energy turns heads. It makes people curious. It leaves a lasting impression. And here's the best part. When you're authentic, you don't just attract attention, you attract the right attention. You draw in people who appreciate you for who you truly are, not for the image you project. That includes him. Let's be honest, most men aren't drawn to perfection. They're drawn to connection. They want someone who feels real, relatable, and genuine. Someone they can laugh with, be vulnerable with, and share life with. When you show up as your authentic self, you create that connection effortlessly. Now, let's talk about what happens when you start living authentically. At first, it might feel uncomfortable. After all, if you've been hiding parts of yourself for a long time, It's going to take practice to let them shine again. But over time, you'll notice a shift. You'll feel lighter, freer, and more confident. And the people around you? They'll notice it too. Your ex will see it. He'll notice the way you carry yourself, the way you speak your mind, and the way you own your space. He'll realize that the woman he once took for granted has evolved into someone extraordinary, someone he can't stop thinking about. But here's the thing. Authenticity isn't about getting him back. It's about getting you back. It's about reconnecting with the parts of yourself that you may have forgotten or ignored. It's about living a life that feels aligned, joyful, and true. Let me share a simple exercise with you. Grab a piece of paper and write down the things that make you you. Your values, your passions, your quirks, everything that defines your unique essence. Then ask yourself, am I living in alignment with these things? If the answer is no, it's time to make some changes. For example, if you value creativity but haven't picked up a paintbrush in years, make time for it. If you're passionate about helping others but haven't been volunteering, find a way to start. These small actions aren't just about reconnecting with yourself, they're about showing the world who you are. And here's the magic. As you step into your authenticity, you'll inspire others to do the same. You'll become a beacon of confidence, self-love, and freedom. And that kind of energy is impossible to ignore. So let me ask you, are you ready to stop hiding and start shining? Are you ready to let go of the fear of judgment and embrace the beauty of being real? Because when you do, you'll not only transform your own life, you'll leave an unforgettable impression on his. If this resonates with you, do me a favor. Hit that like button and comment number 1 below if you're ready to step into your authentic self. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel. We're diving deep into topics that empower you to live boldly, love fearlessly, and attract the life you deserve. Remember, the world doesn't need another perfect woman. It needs you, the real you. And when you embrace that, there's no limit to what you can attract. So go out there, own your authenticity, and watch how the universe aligns in your favor. 5. Actions over words. Identifying true commitment. Have you ever been swept away by someone's words, only to realize later that they never matched their actions? Maybe he said all the right things, promised the world, spoke about a future together, or expressed feelings that made you believe in the strength of your connection. But over time, you started to notice a disconnect. His actions didn't align with his promises. It's a tough realization, isn't it? Words can be intoxicating, especially when they come from someone you love. But here's the truth. Love isn't in the words. It's in the effort, the consistency, and the things someone does when no one's watching. Actions reveal what words can hide. They're the ultimate indicator of someone's intentions, priorities, and level of commitment. And if you want to make him beg for another chance, it starts with holding him and yourself to a higher standard of action over empty promises. Think about it. How many times have you heard, "I'll change, I'll do better," or "I promise this time will be different," only to see the same patterns repeat? It's a cycle many of us fall into, not because we're naive, but because we want to believe the best in people. But believing in someone's potential isn't the same as accepting their reality. Here's where you take your power back. Stop listening to the words and start paying attention to the actions. What is he actually doing to show you he values you? Is he making an effort to meet your needs? Is he consistent in showing up for you, or is he only present when it's convenient? When you shift your focus to actions, you begin to see the relationship for what it truly is, not what you want it to be. And this clarity is essential, because when you recognize a lack of effort or inconsistency, you're faced with a choice. Continue settling for less than you deserve, or set a boundary that demands more. Let me ask you this. What do his actions say about how he feels? Does he prioritize your happiness? Does he make you feel secure, cherished, and respected? Or does he leave you second-guessing his feelings and questioning your worth? Commitment is more than just saying, "I'm here for you." It's showing up when things get tough. It's making sacrifices, communicating openly, and taking responsibility for mistakes. If someone can't back up their words with actions, their commitment is shallow at best. But here's where the tables turn. When you start living by this principle, valuing actions over words, you set a powerful example. You show him that you're not willing to settle for lip service. You expect effort, consistency, and growth. And this expectation challenges him to step up or step out. Think about it like this. A man who truly values you will want to prove it. He won't just tell you he loves you. He'll show it in the way he prioritizes your well-being, makes time for you, and supports your dreams. He won't just promise change, he'll actively work to improve himself and the relationship. This doesn't mean expecting perfection. No one gets it right all the time, but a man who's committed to you will always try. His actions will reflect his desire to build something meaningful with you. Now, let's flip the script for a moment. How do your actions align with your words? Are you holding yourself to the same standard you expect from him? It's easy to demand effort from others while neglecting our own responsibilities in a relationship. For example, are you communicating your needs clearly, or are you expecting him to read your mind? Are you showing appreciation for his efforts, or are you focusing solely on what's missing? Authentic relationships thrive when both partners are willing to put in the work. Here's the beauty of this approach. When you prioritize action, you naturally weed out those who aren't serious about you. The ones who aren't willing to make an effort will fade away, leaving space for someone who will. And if he's the one who let you down in the past, this newfound clarity will make him realize what he lost. Imagine him seeing you in this new light, confident, self-assured, and unwilling to settle for anything less than genuine effort. He'll start to reflect on his own actions or lack thereof and feel the weight of his mistakes. He'll realize that words aren't enough to win you back. He'll need to prove himself through consistent, meaningful actions. This shift isn't just about attracting him back, it's about building a relationship that's grounded in authenticity, trust, and effort. When both partners are committed to showing love through actions, the relationship becomes stronger, more resilient, and deeply fulfilling. But let me be clear. This isn't about testing him or setting impossible standards. It's about mutual respect and accountability. It's about creating a dynamic where both of you feel valued, supported, and inspired to grow together. So how do you put this into practice? Start by getting clear on what you need in a relationship. Write down the actions that make you feel loved, respected, and secure. Then evaluate whether his actions align with these needs. If they don't, have an honest conversation. Express your expectations clearly and calmly without blame or resentment. This isn't about pointing fingers, it's about creating a space for growth and understanding. And if his actions still don't change, walk away. Not out of anger, but of self-respect. Because staying in a situation where words outweigh actions will only lead to disappointment. Here's the incredible part. When you choose to value yourself enough to demand consistency and effort, you become the woman he can't forget. He'll realize that losing you means losing someone who inspired him to be better. Remember, true commitment isn't about grand gestures or dramatic promises. It's in the little things, the everyday choices to prioritize, care, and show up. When actions speak louder than words, love becomes something real, tangible, and unbreakable. So I'll leave you with this. Are you ready to let go of empty promises and start building a life and relationships where actions take center stage? Because when you do, you won't just make him regret losing you, you'll create a love story that's built to last. 6. Invest in yourself. The key to becoming irreplaceable. Let me ask you a question. When was the last time you truly invested in yourself? Not just financially, but emotionally, mentally, and physically. When did you last pour energy into becoming the best version of you? Not for someone else, but simply because you deserve it. Here's the truth. The most powerful way to make him regret losing you isn't about making him jealous or playing mind games. It's about transformation. When you invest in yourself, you become the woman he can't stop thinking about, the one he realizes he'll never find again. But let's pause for a moment and dive deeper. What does it mean to invest in yourself? It's more than a spa day or a new wardrobe, though those are great too. It's about growth, healing, and self-discovery. It's about building a life that feels so good, so fulfilling, that it radiates confidence and joy. That's what makes you magnetic, not just to him, but to everyone around you. Start with your mindset. How are you showing up for yourself each day? Are you waking up excited about your goals, or are you stuck in the same routines, feeling uninspired? Investing in your mindset means shifting your focus from what's missing to what's possible. It's about embracing a stoicism-inspired approach, where you let go of what you can't control and channel your energy into what you can. For example, instead of dwelling on why he left or what went wrong, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I grow from this experience? This shift in perspective isn't just healing, it's empowering. It turns pain into fuel for your transformation. Next, focus on your passions. When was the last time you pursued something just because it made you happy? Maybe it's painting, writing, dancing, or learning a new language. Whatever it is, let it become a part of your life again. Passion is attractive. It's a spark that lights up your entire being. And when he sees you thriving in your passions, he'll realize what he's missing. But investing in yourself isn't just about doing, it's also about being. It's about taking time to nurture your inner world. Meditation, journaling, and quiet moments of reflection help you reconnect with your true self. They remind you of your strength, your resilience, and your worth. Here's a question to reflect on. What does the best version of you look like? Not the version trying to impress anyone, but the one who feels fully alive and aligned. Picture her in vivid detail. How does she spend her time? What kind of energy does she bring into the world? Once you have this vision, start taking small steps toward it. Maybe it's committing to a fitness routine, reading a new book each month, or taking a course that excites you. Each step you take is a declaration. I am worth it. Let's talk about self-care. True self-care isn't just bubble baths and face masks, though those are amazing. It's about creating habits that nourish your body and soul. Are you eating foods that energize you? Are you moving your body in ways that feel good? Are you setting boundaries to protect your energy? Self-care is also about the people you surround yourself with. Are your relationships uplifting and supportive? Or are you holding on to connections that drain you? Part of investing in yourself is knowing when to let go of what no longer serves you. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. How does all this make him want you back? Because let's face it, that's probably on your mind right now. Here's the magic. When you invest in yourself, you're not doing it to win him back. You're doing it for you, but in the process, something incredible happens. You'll see the change in you, the glow in your eyes, the confidence in your step, the way you light up a room. It's impossible to ignore. And here's the kicker. When a man sees a woman who doesn't need him to feel complete, he feels drawn to her. He realizes she's not just surviving, she's thriving, and that makes her irresistible. But this isn't just about him. It's about creating a life so beautiful and fulfilling that, whether he comes back or not, you're at peace. You're no longer looking for validation from anyone because you found it within yourself. Imagine this. Months from now, you're living a life you love. You've achieved goals you once thought were out of reach. You've surrounded yourself with people who uplift and inspire you. And then, out of nowhere, he reaches out. He wants to know how you've been, what you've been up to. And when he sees the woman you've become, he'll realize something profound. Losing you wasn't just a mistake, it was his greatest regret. But by then the question isn't whether he wants you back. The question is, do you even want him back? Now, if this idea resonates with you, if you're ready to take your power back and start investing in the incredible woman you are, then I want you to do two things. First, hit that like button and comment number 1 below. Let's create a community of women who are choosing themselves, stepping into their power, and building lives they love. And second, subscribe to this channel. We're on a journey together, a journey of growth, empowerment, and self-discovery. You don't want to miss what's coming next. Remember, investing in yourself isn't just a choice. It's a commitment to becoming the best version of you. And when you do that, the world and the people in it can't help but take notice. 7. Letting your absence speak. The power of silence. Have you ever heard the saying, sometimes the loudest thing you can do is say nothing at all? Silence can be deafening, powerful, and transformative, especially when used with intention. Letting your absence speak isn't about playing games, it's about shifting the balance of energy and creating space for self-reflection, both for you and for him. Silence, when done from a place of strength, communicates a message that no words could ever convey. I value myself enough to stop chasing someone who doesn't see my worth. But let's dig deeper. Why is silence so powerful in relationships? Why does pulling away often have a greater impact than staying in constant communication? The answer lies in human psychology. People tend to appreciate things only when they're gone. Think about it. How many times have you taken something or someone for granted, only to realize their true value when they're no longer there? This isn't manipulation, it's a natural part of how we process relationships and connections. When you create distance, you give him the opportunity to reflect on what life is like without you. He starts to notice the small things he overlooked. The way you made him feel understood, your laugh, your kindness, and the way you supported him. These memories resurface in the silence, and suddenly he's left wondering why he didn't appreciate them more when he had the chance. But silence isn't just for him, it's for you too. This time away allows you to reset, focus on yourself, and gain clarity about what you truly want. Are you holding on to him because you genuinely believe he's the right person for you? Or are you clinging to an idea of him, to the comfort of the familiar? Silence creates the space to ask these important questions and find honest answers. Now, let me ask you, are you ready to embrace silence, to let go of the need to explain, justify, or seek closure? It's not easy, especially if you're used to reaching out, trying to fix things, or hoping for reassurance. But here's the truth, silence is not weakness, it's strength. Stoicism, a philosophy grounded in self-control and inner peace, teaches us that we cannot control others, only ourselves. When you embrace silence, you're practicing this principle. You're choosing to control your energy, your emotions, and your time. You're taking a step back, not out of indifference, but out of self-respect. Here's an important point. Silence doesn't mean giving him the cold shoulder or ignoring him out of spite. It means intentionally choosing not to engage in patterns that no longer serve you. It means saying, I am stepping back to focus on myself. And when you do this, something remarkable happens. He starts to feel the weight of your absence. He begins to wonder why you're no longer reaching out, why you're not fighting for his attention like you used to. And this curiosity sparks a shift. At first, he might not react. He might assume you're just taking a break or trying to make a point. But as time goes on, the silence grows louder. It forces him to confront his own feelings, his own mistakes, and his own role in the situation. And then comes the moment of realization. He misses you. He misses the connection you shared, the way you made him feel, and the stability you brought into his life. And in this silence, he's left to ask himself the one question that matters most. What am I willing to do to win her back? But here's the thing, this isn't about waiting for him to come to this realization. This isn't about sitting by the phone hoping he'll call. This is about using this time to grow, to thrive, and to rediscover yourself. Imagine this, you've taken a step back, focused on your goals, and started building the life you've always dreamed of. You've surrounded yourself with people who uplift and inspire you. You've reconnected with your passions and embraced the powerful, confident woman you are. And then, one day he reaches out. He's seen the transformation in you, felt the void your absence left, and realized what he lost. But here's the most important part. By the time he's ready to come back, you're no longer the same person he left behind. You've grown, evolved, and raised your standards. You're no longer chasing love, you're attracting it. And whether you choose to give him another chance or not, the decision will be entirely yours. Let's be clear. Silence isn't about manipulation or punishment. It's about creating space for growth, reflection, and transformation. It's about reclaiming your power and setting the tone for the kind of relationship you deserve, one where effort, respect, and mutual appreciation take center stage. So, are you ready to let your absence speak for you? Are you ready to let silence become your loudest statement? If this resonates with you, take a moment to hit that like button and comment number 1 below. Let's celebrate this moment of strength and self-discovery together. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more empowering insights and strategies to help you create the love and life you deserve. Remember, silence isn't the end of the story. It's the beginning of a powerful new chapter, one where you take center stage, not as the one chasing love, but as the one who inspires it. 8. The simplest way to spread happiness. Help without expecting anything in return. Let me ask you this. When was the last time you did something purely for the joy of giving? No strings attached, no expectations, just an act of kindness to make someone else's day brighter. It might seem unrelated to making him beg to come back, but stay with me. This one is more powerful than you think. True generosity, grounded in authenticity and selflessness, doesn't just uplift others, it transforms you. It reshapes how you view yourself and how others perceive you. And yes, it's one of the subtle yet potent ways to make someone realize they've lost someone truly extraordinary. When you extend kindness without expecting anything in return, you radiate an energy that is rare and magnetic. It shows that your happiness isn't tied to external validation but comes from within, a trait that is both attractive and inspiring. Imagine this. You're not focused on what you're missing or who isn't showing up for you. Instead, you're pouring your energy into acts of compassion, volunteering, supporting a friend, or even just offering a genuine smile to a stranger. These small acts ripple outward, creating an impact far beyond the moment. And here's where it gets interesting. As you focus on spreading joy and helping others, you stop chasing. You let go of the need to control how others respond to you, including him. This shift is profound because it flips the dynamic. When you're no longer seeking, you become sought after. Think about it. Imagine him watching you from a distance, thriving, engaged in meaningful work, and lighting up the lives of those around you. He starts to see you in a new light, not as the woman who once needed him, but as the one who is fulfilled, radiant, and deeply connected to her purpose. But this isn't just about his perception. Helping others without expecting anything in return reminds you of your own strength and capacity for love. It builds your confidence, your resilience, and your sense of self-worth. You realize that your value doesn't come from being in a relationship. It comes from the way you show up in the world. This practice is deeply tied to Stoicism. One of the core principles of Stoicism is recognizing that we find true contentment not in what we receive, but in what we give. It's about focusing on what you can control, your actions, your intentions, and your impact, rather than seeking external rewards or recognition. Let's explore how you can start embracing this mindset. Begin small. Maybe it's offering to help a colleague with a project, cooking a meal for a friend, or writing a note of encouragement to someone who's struggling. The size of the act doesn't matter, it's the intention behind it. As you make this a habit, you'll notice something incredible. The more you give, the fuller your life feels. You'll find yourself surrounded by positivity and gratitude, not because you're expecting it, but because that's the natural energy you're attracting. And yes, he'll notice. He'll see the woman you've become, someone who radiates light, confidence, and generosity, someone who doesn't just exist but thrives. He'll realize that what he lost wasn't just a partner, but a force of nature, someone who makes the world better simply by being in it. But here's the most beautiful part. By the time he comes to this realization, you'll be so grounded in your own joy and fulfillment that his opinion will no longer define your happiness. Whether he begs to come back or not, you'll have already won. So, let me ask you, are you ready to embrace this shift? To stop focusing on what you've lost and start creating ripples of positivity that transform not just your life, but the lives of those around you. If this resonates with you, take a moment to reflect on one way you can spread happiness today. It doesn't have to be grand, just something small, meaningful, and genuine. And as you do, watch how your world begins to change. The simplest way to create a life you love isn't about receiving more, it's about giving more. When you live with this mindset, you become a beacon of joy, authenticity, and strength. And trust me, that's the kind of energy no one can resist, including him. If this journey has inspired you, hit that like button and comment number 1 below. Let's create a community of women who are not just attracting love, but spreading it in ways that matter. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more insights that empower you to live boldly and love fearlessly. You've got this. The best version of you is just getting started. So here we are, at the crossroads of everything we've explored. You've learned how the power of silence, authenticity, and self-investment can shift the dynamics of not just your relationships, but your entire life. You've seen how focusing on actions over words, letting go when necessary, and cultivating positivity can transform you into the kind of woman who doesn't just attract love, she commands it. But let's take a moment to reflect. This journey isn't just about making him beg for another chance. It's about stepping into your power and realizing that you are the prize. It's about creating a life so fulfilling, so aligned with who you are, that anyone who walks away would have no choice but to regret it. And here's the most liberating truth. When you truly embrace these changes, his feelings or actions will no longer define your happiness. Whether he comes back or not won't matter, because you'll be thriving in a life that feels whole and joyful, with or without him. Remember, Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control, our thoughts, our actions, and our growth. When you live by these principles, you become unstoppable. You're no longer chasing external validation, because your worth isn't tied to anyone else. So, what's next? It's time to take action. Implement what you've learned. Invest in yourself, embrace your authenticity, and let your silence create space for clarity and reflection. Build a life that feels extraordinary to you. And if he does come back, remember this: the choice will be yours. You hold the power now. If this journey has inspired you, I'd love to hear from you. Share your thoughts in the comments below and let me know how these insights resonate with your own story. Hit the like button if this video sparked something within you. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more empowering content. You're stronger, wiser, and more radiant than you realize. The world is waiting for the incredible woman you're becoming. Keep growing, keep shining, and always remember, the best is yet to come. Thank you for watching, and here's to you, your journey, your power, and your unstoppable transformation. Stay amazing.